Hi, I'm George. Welcome to MadEV. Today we start the show with a story. A few months ago, Mercedes-Benz announced an official price cut for the entire EQ lineup in China. Why did things come to this? Let me speculate on the cause of events. When the EQS was first introduced in China, the Germans felt that since it was the first Mercedes-Benz native luxury EV, it has to be set a high price. Even though the Chinese side strongly opposed it, they still insist on their approach. But after the EQS was launched, the sales were not ideal. Even after the cheaper EQE was released afterwards, and the low-end market still has many models converted from gas-powered cars to compete for the market. Throughout the EQ range, none of them sold well in China. During that time, NIO entered the German market with strong presence, beating EQE to win the Golden Steering Wheel Award. Only at this time did the Germans realize that the local Chinese EV makers had already become such a powerful force. Then they had to admit their error and begin reducing prices on certain models from its EQ range. What they are facing in China is experienced by all other Sino-foreign joint venture automakers. In our previous video, we used NIO and Volkswagen as examples to show you why these new Chinese automakers, founded only a few years ago, can burst out so much energy, and how difficult the electrification is for traditional companies limited by their complex organizational structures. Today, taking Volkswagen as an example again, I will give you a comprehensive overview from three aspects: gas-powered vehicles, electrical vehicles, and intelligence, to see what difficulties are being faced by the joint venture companies that once thrived in China. In China, there is an interesting saying: Volkswagen is classy. 10 years ago, this statement was quite accurate. At that time, with TSI, DSG, PQ46, laser welding roof, cavity wax injection, and other advanced technologies, Volkswagen was definitely in the leading rank of automotive technology and craftsmanship. But why aren't people saying that anymore? Because Volkswagen's old advantages have gradually disappeared due to the slow progression of gas-powered car in general. This brought two problems to Volkswagen. First, gas-powered cars are not selling that well anymore. Second, expensive gas-powered cars are becoming more difficult to sell. Here's the number. You can tell immediately the situation is not looking good for Volkswagen. By rough calculation, the loss is about the same as the sales volume of Seat in 1 year globally. Meanwhile, premium salons and SUVs account for only about 5% of the sales in Volkswagen family. Last year, the combined sales of these four big SUVs did not even exceed that of Li Auto 1. More than 60% of Volkswagen sales in China are affordable family cars. Moreover, since Volkswagen is no longer going to invest more resources in gas-powered cars, domestic FAW Volkswagen and SAIC Volkswagen have to rely on their own efforts to maintain product updates. So almost all Volkswagen cars sold in China now are China-exclusive cars or remodeled cars. Therefore, selling gas-powered cars is only to occupy the market, stabilize the system, and make money, so that Volkswagen can have enough capital for this automotive revolution. Second, how is Volkswagen's electrification going now in China? Let's look at the product competitiveness. To be honest, Volkswagen's ID lineup is quite diverse, the ride and build quality is pretty good, and the range is relatively solid. Then let's look at the reform of the sales channels. Volkswagen is building showrooms in key shopping areas, engaging in agency-based sales, connecting users directly through the apps, and have ID Days event that put users before anything else, all of which are right ways to boost EV sales. From these 2 points, we can see that Volkswagen is truly genuine with its electrification. Meanwhile, none of other competitors can pose a real threat to the Volkswagen ID. Every new electric car introduced by the joint venture automakers has made consumers more aware of how cost-effective the ID is. In this situation, the sales figure of Volkswagen ID has been able to rank the 7th brand of the Chinese electric vehicle market, accounting for 56.6% of all joint venture companies' electrical sales. And if we are considering mainstream electrical family car, the ID series has now become practically the third buying choice after BYD and Tesla in China. We had thought that Volkswagen's electrification was the beginning of the joint venture brand's comeback, but we didn't realize that it was actually the pinnacle. However, if you were to ask ID owners how they evaluate their cars, the answer would probably be, I'm not disappointed, but also won't have any expectations, which means they don't have much hope for Volkswagen software system. The majority of the user complaints about ID EVs are mostly due to a not that clever infotainment and the driving assistant system. In fact, this is not exactly Volkswagen's fault. The intelligence of its gas-powered cars is more or less the same as that of its EVs. But we rarely see users who buy a Tiguan or a Golf complain about the software non-stop. But it's not the same with EVs. The competition in the Chinese EV market is intense, raising user expectations much higher. Even the mainstream family car buyers can't help but be impressed by a good infotainment system and ADAS. And it's not like Volkswagen isn't aware of this issue. Carriad, the Volkswagen software company mentioned in the last video, is its way to solve this problem. But now, over half a year later, the Volkswagen Group has experienced the departure of ex-CEO Herbert Diess, the demerger of Porsche, Audi's refusal to work with Volkswagen on a unified electrical platform. Plus, the software unification has been delayed by the new CEO for 4 years on the ground that the new software could not be ready in time. As a result, Volkswagen has to turn to China to find a reliable partner here if it wanted to improve its software. So, in October 2022, after Diess has failed to progress with his plan, Volkswagen shelled out €2.4 billion to enter into a joint venture with Horizon, China's top provider of intelligent computing platforms, which is the largest investment in the 40 years that Volkswagen has been in the Chinese market. In the old world of automobiles, many of the traditional auto giants, including Volkswagen, did a lot of things right and thus established a formidable presence. But in the new world of automobiles, this does not guarantee that these auto giants will still be able to maintain their status quo. Volkswagen is already one of the most determined traditional brands. Even in the face of strong resistance, it still insists on seeking changes and trying hard to push forward in making intelligent cars. Compared with the Japanese Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, Germany's Mercedes-Benz and BMW, you can immediately see how radical Volkswagen is. However, even after such efforts, Volkswagen, which sells more than 2 million cars in China every year, is still falling behind other up-and-coming brands in the EV industry. This should be a wake-up call to all the other traditional automakers who refused to embrace the revolution. Stop considering stubbornness as persistence. What do you think about this? Do you think these old traditional automakers still have the chance to win? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share it with your friends.